Hello, today we build a picture frame, but we start with the pieces of the miter box. I used to cut the pieces about 20 to 25 centimeters long. I used pine wood for this project because it's easy to get and very cheap. Here I show you a detailed cut of the working with the Stanley knife to get the better saw groove. The measurements of the wood are 30 millimeter by 15 millimeters and 2 meters in length, which give us enough wood in case we screw something up, as I did later in the video. Now I cut all pieces to length with the handsaw. This is a cheap handsaw I bought in a storage, about $5. The next thing is the assembly of the miter box. Here I draw the 45-degree miter to cut with the saw. You can use a square or a ruler for this type of drawing. Then I used my square to get the right angle for the cut. Be sure to cut deeper than the width of the workpieces you are working with. In case I cut it about 80 millimeters in depth. Now it's time for assembly. I glued and screwed all parts together. For pre-drilling I used a drill that is 1 millimeter less than the screw I use. As an example, if you use a 3 millimeter screw, you have to drill a 2 millimeter hole so the wood will not split. If your hand don't have clamps, you can also use a tape. In example, Panter's tape. Now the mitre box is finished. I learned these tricks in separate books and by Paul Sellers. Check out his YouTube channel. I put the description in the link box below. Now it's time to cut our first angle, our first mitre. Here is the second tool I show you. It's a block of wood with a screw, with a slot screw in it. You can make decorative grooves into the wood by cutting it with the slot head. Here I show a detail. The length of the screw determines how deep you can get with the screw to cut the wood. After the finish of the surface is already done, it's time to measure out how long each piece should be. But before we get there, I draw a line for the rabbet, about 8 millimeters by 8 millimeters. Then I cut on the line with the Stanley knife. The first passes should go very smooth and very light, only to determine the path for the knife to travel. After that you can go heavier as you want, and if everything works right, you can cut through the wood and break down the pieces for the rabbet. Be sure always to cut with the grain. After that I take a picture 10 centimeter by 15 centimeter and draw the pieces, the length of the pieces. I always draw the direction of the mitre so I won't get stuck or maybe cut the wrong angle. But be also sure that the rabbet is always on the inside where the picture should go, because I flipped one side wrong and so I destroyed one piece. Here I show you how you should check about the rabbet for the picture frame. Here you see the same side is right. Then, as everything is cut and pre-sanded with 80 and 120 grit sandpaper, it's time for the glue up. I use the packet tape, but you also can use a painter's tape or something else you have. Even mitre clamps, if you have at hand. But I want to keep it as cheap as possible. Important thing is you need to have a flat surface to line out all pieces for the picture frame. Here you see a better view of the surface I made with the block of wood. Everything is dried out. It's time to sand it flush with 80 grit and 100 grit sandpaper. And if some glue is stuck in the grooves, no problem. Use your tools to clean out the grooves. I put a little bit and now is everything ready.